Welcome to the Halloween special of DNA Nick and Adam show. I'm Nick.
And I'm Matt. My power level is above 90,000. Hello, creepy baby.
Hello. What are we talking about today, Adam?
Today we're going to talk about Samhain. Well, people think it's pronounced Samhain, but it's actually pronounced Samhain. And it's actually like the pagan New Year.
Oh.
But for all intents and purposes, we're going to call it Halloween, and I'm going to take up this, but I'm going to leave my name.
Right. So we're also going to be talking about some news in the horror movie genre.
Yes, we are. I do have one thing I must confess. No one cared who I was till I put on the mask. That's all.
Okay. So, we're going to talk about they're rebooting the Exorcist franchise.
Boom!
Movies.
Yeah.
And just some other great things to check out for this Halloween season. So, we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yo.
So,
All right. So it was just announced by the Blumhouse Productions that they are rebooting the Exorcist franchise. So, yeah, there's few franchises in general you don't mess with, and the Exorcist is one. So,
Okay. So, according to the article you sent me, which was it by Variety?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. Might not have been Variety. But anyway,
Give me one
what
whole
it sounds like, and they have the same writer too. It's Blumhouse doing
second. It is
this.
Blumhouse.
Okay,
yes.
so it looks like they got the same writer, or they're trying the same treatment that they're doing with Halloween. And what they did with Halloween is they retconned everything except the first movie. And
So, just real quick, it was Den of Geek. I think.
it was who?
Den of Geek.
Den of Geek. Den of Geek, not Variety. Den of Geek. Okay. So they retconned every Halloween movie except for the first one. Michael Myers gets caught, taken to the insane asylum at the end of the first movie instead of being shot. Well, he was shot, but anyway, I digress. And then you get the 2018 Halloween movie where they bring back Jamie Lee Curtis and they plan a trilogy. Now, that sounds like, from this article, Blumhouse is going to do the exact same thing with The Exorcist. Okay? But they're not going to bring back Linda Blair.
Which is fine.
Is it? I don't know that it is. Because, okay, so you bring back Jamie Lee Curtis, all right? And you bring back the woman who played Linda Blair's mother?
One, you always have to think, does she want to come back? Because I know a lot of people on that production, the original Exorcist production, didn't have a good time.
Yeah, but it's been 30, 40 years. I get it. I know what you're saying.
Right.
But this is a different director. That director had...
But mind you, it's completely different.
Yeah, that guy treated Linda Blair like shit.
Yeah.
And when the bed rocking scenes and everything, she got a permanent back injury.
Well, and not only that, she was basically shunned the rest of her childhood.
Well, yeah.
I mean, so I can understand where she's like, thanks, but no thanks. I don't need this.
Right. Unless you think you're going to make a lot of money and you back up a dump truck full of money to her. And maybe she's moved on and that's all fine. But okay, so Linda Blair's not in it. Fine.
Right.
Why is this a good idea?
It's not, but what I've
It's not.
It's not, but it depends on if they do it well. Because the best example that I've seen recently is the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
Where they made their own little pocket universe. They tied all the movies together, and I'm not going to say they're all great, but it's all very cool that they all.
Yeah,
They
I mean
they all fit
they're all their
together in
little
some way.
cinematic universe. They're fun. They're loosely based off of Ed and Lorraine Warren's cases. They were real.
No, and that's the thing. They're a real couple. Their museum that they have is real.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of the cases that are actually covered in the movies are real. And you can, and it's one of these days I'd love to go see the museum.
You're doing that on your own, buddy.
Yeah, I say it. Well, I think, yeah, it's gonna have to probably do it on my own.
Actually,
maybe Trudy Sparkles will come with me. We'll see.
I'm glad we're talking about this because this here is Palo Santo. Okay?
Okay.
Is if you burn this, okay, it will attract good spirits, higher beings. It helps cleanse, just like sage. So you're getting a cleansing before you come around me if you're gonna go to that place.
Well, and it very much reminds me of little spooky story that you and I shared as teenagers.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Ooh. Do you
Um,
want to hear a ghost story?
Yeah, do you want to hear a ghost story? So back in the day, while we were in high school, Adam, I,
We were in the
and
10th grade.
10th grade, and another friend of ours decided that we were gonna go be ghost hunters.
Well, no, that wasn't.
Well, not ghost hunters, but
We had an extra credit assignment by our
oh, that's
history
right.
teacher.
Which I was, but I was not in that class.
You
It
weren't
was
in the class. That's right. And the extra credit assignment was this: if you want to get a feel for how old your town is or your county is, wherever we lived in a big county, go to the local cemeteries and get a look at the dates on the gravestones. And we didn't even have to like chalk any of them, like you see like in the movies when they do that stuff. We just had to say we went and explain, and we got extra credit. So we said, yeah, we're going to do that. And we were football players the years before. Okay. So we were,
well, and we're not small guys.
we're not small guys. We can defend ourselves. And yes, we liked horror movies and stuff like that, but we weren't easily scared.
And we had the I'm a teenager and I'm dumb excuse still.
That's true too.
So
That's true too.
that being said,
So one of the very first, so I'll say we started this adventure at about 5:00, 5:30 p.m. On a weekday night. The sun was still up and it was fall.
as it was fall, so it got dark pretty early. So.
Got dark earlier, but it wasn't quite, the solstice hadn't happened, so it was still light. First cemetery we went to, very, very, very old cemetery, like graves kind of like literally no bigger than a small room, actually. Maybe two small rooms, and the graves were kind of washed out. My brother-in-law, he was my sister's boyfriend at the time, and my brother like hid there and tried to pop out and scare us. They knew what we were doing, and we were just like, whatever, these guys suck.
Right.
So we moved on. We went to another cemetery. At this point now, it's getting darker. We actually found a grave of one of my relatives while we were there. My aunt's husband. So we're there, walking around at night in a big cemetery. This one was huge.
I'd say that's much more of a commercial cemetery.
Yeah, I mean, this fucker was huge. Gravestones laying on the ground. They're not set up. I think we went to another one after that, and everything's going just fine. It's pitch black out. We're fine.
No issues. Everybody's fine. No. Oh, I don't want to go. Nothing like that.
Yeah, I don't think you should turn in here, man. I think we should go home. None of that.
Well, we were into it because I was a history geek, and like I said, the first one we had dates going back, close to Civil War time,
right?
That kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, this is cool. But we were also being very respectful.
That's very important because there wasn't an ego on the table. Well, there was, but not the ego that stated like, I'm not afraid of anything. I don't care if the Wolfman's there. There wasn't anything like that.
Right.
And there were no local legends to say, you know what I mean? There is local legends there now. I realize that. But
you learn a few things.
You learn a few things. But not because of this. So again, this was all very professional for a bunch of 10th graders. We were we were mature. So then we have this idea to go pull into the cemetery, which is across the street from the county jail. And it's a Catholic cemetery, so it's not like they have prisoners buried there, and that's like their potter's field or anything.
Right.
It's a jail, not a fucking prison. Sorry, but anyway.
but it's very when you think of cemeteries, this is what you think of.
Yeah, it's a
It's
cemetery.
got the wrought iron fencing.
Yep.
Lots of there's mausoleums, lots of big structures, for tombstones. You can tell it's a very old cemetery.
Exactamundo. And so Nick, why don't you? So we pull in off of the side street, and there's a driveway all the way. I mean, it goes straight. You can't really turn around without going onto the grass. We didn't want to do that, but there was like a tool shed up to our left. We were in a K car, and we were in our buddy's K car, and he was driving.
Fine, reliable automobile.
That's right. So tell them what happened.
So, like I said, this had been the fourth or fifth cemetery we'd been to.
Yeah.
Had no issues. As soon as we passed the entry gate, there just was the biggest knot in our stomachs, or my stomach, that
Mine
started
too.
to grow.
All of us.
And we all kind of went,
It was dread.
it was dread. It was just, you got all this overwhelming, you should not be here.
Yeah.
You have no business being here. And there was, like I said, there's no reason for it, but just
It was heavy. It's
there-
very heavy.
there was something saying you shouldn't be here. And I'm fairly certain if it was, you want to say God or my angel, whatever, says you need to go.
Yeah, it was exactly. It was nothing audible. Not we're saying it was something saying get out of here, but not audible. It was, and the fact that all three of us were experiencing the exact same thing.
As soon as we crossed that gate,
As soon as we crossed the gate, it was
it was the biggest nope ever.
ever. Yeah.
And it was just, and we were, and I think and if I remember, we gave it like the college try for like 5 seconds.
Well, we got all the way to that damn tool shed.
Well, and I think we got out and we just went, nope.
Yeah, we did.
We got out.
We got out.
Because we're like, well, you know what? We're going to try. We're here. And we did not make it more than 15 feet. And we said, nope.
And the funny part about the unacknowledgement of what was going on was very prevalent because, like Nick said, we gave it the old college try, but we were kind of like, well, let's get out. Okay, so we get out, and we're like, hey, let's go,
Yeah.
And I think it was Nick that's like, can we just get out of here or something like that. We got back in the car, we turned around, and we left faster than we came in. We went to a Coney Island.
Yeah. Well, and just for the record, we're not saying we didn't see anything. We
didn't hear anything.
We didn't hear anything. But when you've got, and I forget how many people do we have? We had 3 or 4. Because I know we had at least 3.
It was us. It was just me, you, and Ben.
Okay.
A guy named Ben.
And so all of us at the same time just went, and we all had the same exact feeling, and we're like, we have got to get out of here.
No one's talking about horror movies tonight. No one's talking about ghost stories this night. No one's talking about anything related to the macabre, to the supernatural. This isn't a ghost hunting thing.
Yeah, we weren't all hyped up. We weren't, we were there for the assignment, and I was just kind of tagging along for the journey.
Right. Because we were inseparable. The three of us were
Right.
inseparable. It was our tribe. And we didn't say anything really. I remember we didn't say a word in the car. Except for where we going. We went to Coney Island. We got to Coney Island. I don't know if we ordered. And I think it was me that said, are we going to talk about what just happened?
Right.
And all we could think of was like panic, dread.
Yeah.
Dread.
Yeah, it's our really kind of first and only voyage into the kind of supernatural realm, or kind of the ghost hunting realm, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was
without hunting.
And it was the last.
Yeah, because I'm not looking for that shit unless
No.
it's on TV.
That's how I say it is funny because you see those shows, the Ghost Adventures, the Ghost Hunters, and you got these guys like calling out the ghosts, and I'm like, are you out of your mind? What are you doing?
Yeah.
My,
Yeah.
voice, my voice always goes up a few octaves. Like, what do you don't do that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
But-
So what makes the story even weirder is that was fall. So that would have been fall of 96. And there's something else we have to talk about tonight before I leave here, but we can't talk about it on air. I'm sorry. We can't. Maybe we can record it, but we won't post it in a minute. We'll talk about this. But so this was the fall of 96. So the summer of 97, my brother was staying at our place and he was talking to my mother. Now, my brother is the type of guy who he was in his mid-20s at this point. He was always in trouble, in and out of jail. Okay, so that jail across the street from that cemetery was like his winter home kind of a thing. And I say that very lightheartedly. He was a tough mother, okay? And he didn't lose fights, okay? And he wasn't afraid of anything, okay? That said, he looked like a fucking muscle with teeth. We're big guys. He's a big guy, but muscle with teeth.
He terrified me.
Yeah, he's a very imposing person. So he's talking to my mother, and I maybe I'm getting a drink of water. Maybe I'm sitting in the living room. We lived in a mobile home, so it wasn't far from the kitchen. And he says, talking about being in a cemetery, and he didn't feel right. And I look, I'm like, what are you talking about? And I get involved in the conversation, and he's telling me that he's coming home late one night from a party, and that he's taking a shortcut through that cemetery. And as he's walking, his skin starts crawling. He describes the exact same thing, except he doesn't have a car to get into and peel out of there. And he just starts running for his life. He says, all I can think of is get out now. And he ran out of there and he hopped the fence. Now, at this point, he has no idea what I've experienced in there. I'm listening to him talk. And I said, well, it's funny you should say that because last October, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it was September.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was confirmed. That made it even weirder.
Right. So that was our experience with the paranormal, if you will. And you know what? If that's the last, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, if that's the last, I'm perfectly okay with it.
All right. So welcome back. And for this Halloween special, Adam, we're doing our top 5 favorite Halloween movies.
Ooh.
Number 5 on Nick's list is Child's Play.
Good pick, Nick.
That's the first movie where, like, because I never never allowed myself to watch the Nightmare on Elm Street or the Jason movies as a kid, but Child's Play is the first one where I think my brother said, "You're watching this," and I said, "No,"
and you did,
and it didn't matter. So we watched Child's Play.
So let me think here. I had number 5 on my list. As a kid, made me, damn near pee my pants. And I still get the willies thinking about it. House. It's got the, God, I can't think of his name right now. His name was Roger Cobb in the movie. He played the greatest American hero. And he was in Carrie. And William Catt. Yes. He was also, I think, the minister that married Penny and Dorky Dick on what's that show called? The Whole Universe show. Big Bang Theory. Dorky Dick. Leonard and Penny, or it was Howard and sexy Melissa Ranch.
And also notable mention Carrie.
Well, yeah, but Carrie.
So
I got something to say about Carrie.
And mind you, these are no discernible order. These are just strictly our 5. Some of our I made Adam pick 5. So these aren't in any particular order, but so it's not our necessarily favorite to least favorite, but
not so sure Carrie was wrong.
So number 4 for me, and it's not really a scary movie, but it's a movie that I absolutely love, and I love watching this time of year. That's They Live with Roddy Piper.
Go on, say it, Nick, in the echo.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
The best line in cinema history, "Don't at me." But I just absolutely there's a special place in my heart for that movie, and it's just grown over time. So
All right, my number 4 spot is 2 different movies that you could compile into one: the original Fright Night and Fright Night 2. And Fright Night 2 is out of print, and you can't get it unless you're willing to pay like $100 or more.
and you're not.
And I'm not, but you can watch it for free on YouTube, which makes me think it's in the public domain now, and nobody gives a shit about it, which is sad because it's a good movie. But yeah, Fright Night, that was one of my gateway drugs into horror.
So another one, a little bit off the scary path. Not necessarily scary, but I love it nonetheless. Army of Darkness, Bruce Campbell. Really, not the first thing I became the biggest fan of Bruce Campbell with, but it's one of those. It's the most endearing role for me for Bruce Campbell as Ash.
I'm noticing like a trend here between our movies. Like there's like a little bit of levity in yours, and mine are all murder.
That's why I made us have different lists, because I knew there'd be completely different.
Yeah. All right. That kind of changes everything. I know we were going to bring the Evil Dead and all that into this.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, okay. This next 3 movies, arguably could be number 1. But I'm going to put it this way, just because these are the order I like them in. I'm not even sure I like this one as a top 5, but it just deserves to be in the top 3. So I'm going with The Exorcist at number 3.
Solid.
Yeah.
No arguments. It is the quintessential horror movie. Yeah, I never watched it until when we were in school, and my one buddy's like, "Hey, they just re-released it." I was like, "Go and check it out." And it was one of those, I think I did it on my own. I thought it would save me the pain of watching it during the daytime,
Right.
in a dark theater. But it was one of those mental things where I was like, it won't be as scary if it's during the daytime, But it was one of those special editions, so they had all the different things. Like they had the demon in the corner and all that stuff during the wicked times when the Linda Blair's character was getting attacked and all that stuff.
So I said to my mother I wanted to see it when I was a kid. I don't think I'd gotten into middle school yet. And she said, okay. And I remember watching it thinking, this isn't so scary. But then I'm in bed and I'm like, fuck, what if I get possessed by the devil?
It's the ones that get you
after,
and especially when just before you're getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I was very uneasy. I didn't watch it again until I was an adult.
Well, especially that's where Chucky came in, where I was like, so every single doll I looked at completely different from here on out.
My buddy.
Yeah. And then I asked for this list a couple deep cuts where people may not have thought. My first one up is The Reaping. This one's from 2007. Hilary Swank. She's investigates quote unquote miracles, and she ends up in this little town in the South where all these weird things keep happening, these biblical type things, and her job is to go explain it away with science and all that. And next thing you know, she can't quite explain some of these away, so she gets wrapped up in this whole mystery. And it's a nice little kind of thrillers, not quite horror, but definitely a thriller type of movie. So
yeah, it sounds like Evil. If you've seen Evil, the TV show.
Okay.
It's a team of so like Luke Cage, well, the guy who played Luke Cage, plays this character of Dave Acosta, and he is training to be a priest.
Okay.
And then they got this woman. She plays the part of Kristen. I can't remember her last name in the morning. I don't know. I don't even know her real name. But she plays the part of a woman. Of course, she's a woman, but she's a psychologist in a court, and she determines whether or not somebody legitimately is insane when they try to plead the insanity plea. And then there's another guy in it, and he's not religious. He doesn't. He's Muslim faith, but he's not religious at all. He doesn't believe in anything, and he's the video guy. And he's like, no, this is how they pulled this off. He debunks everything.
Right.
And so they're supposed to go and investigate miracles or assess people for exorcisms. And this show's twisted. Also, if you want the shit scared out of you, if you really want the shit scared out of you, watch the first season and only the first season of the Exorcist television show.
Oh yeah. When did that
A couple years back, I accidentally bought it on Prime when I didn't know how to like use it.
Right.
And so like my buddy at work was like saying, you got to see it, this and that. I'm like, well, here, let me just see. And it's like, well, if I buy it, it didn't say, do you really want to buy it? It was like, you bought it.
Right.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
ah. So I watched it. Oh my God. And then my sister, she was texting me, what the F, Adam? I can't watch this alone. What did you do? And I'm like, you can't watch it alone. I was having second thoughts at the end. So Gina Davis is in it. She's great.
And then my final pick is Stigmata.
That is a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. So let me make sure I get the correct
Patricia Arquette.
Arquette.
Yeah.
So it's Patricia Arquette, Gabriel Byrne, who he had a short time there where he was in everything, and he was awesome because he's also in
Yeah, he played the devil in End of Days.
played the devil in End of Days. He was in Usual Suspects, all that. But yeah. So when a young woman becomes afflicted by stigmata, a priest is sent to investigate her case, which may have severe ramifications for his faith or the Catholic Church itself. Kind of the same thing as Reaping, where Gabriel Byrne actually works for the Catholic Church and actually goes and debunks quote unquote miracles and all that stuff. But that was one of those I know very little religious background, and I saw that and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
That movie was intense. I remember it was one of the best horror movies the 90s produced.
Where she she starts getting the wounds in the hands in the middle of a club, and I was like, what is going on?
And she's being attacked by evil spirits at the same time.
Yeah, and I just ever since that I was like, and after that there was a bunch of documentaries about stigmata and all that stuff. But that was that's one of those ones that probably not many people know about it, but is a really good flick. So
Awesome flick.
all right, what you got?
That was your number 2, right?
Nope, that was 5 for me. Did we skip you?
What was your number 2? The Reaping. Oh yeah, we skipped me.
You started talking about a movie. I wasn't sure if that was.
Yeah, I got lost on the Exorcist.
So you got 2 in a row too.
All right, well, that's fine. If I ever die and go to hell, I want to meet George Burns. That's a joke from South Park, but I just wanted to say that on the air. Number 2, Halloween, the original, classic. Well, the first time I saw it was with our old buddy Chris up north, not on drugs, and joke. But we got the shit scared out of us up there watching it, and it is a classic movie, and it is really good. And then my number 1 is A Nightmare on Elm Street. It was the gateway for me into horror. It was I loved Freddy as a kid. My mom was very concerned about that.
Nightmares for days.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
I've only had a couple Freddy dreams in my whole life, but I've had them.
When I was younger, I used to get night terrors when I was a kid.
Oh boy.
So that did not help.
Yeah, I can imagine. So,
but one of the things I'm gonna do a quick throw in here. So one of the things I absolutely love about movies is things that doesn't really happen anymore is the special features and behind the scenes things. And one of my favorite shows that's on Netflix that just released a new season is The Movies That Made Us.
Yeah, they got a lot of horror on there.
So they just released a new season with a bunch of horror movies, and they have for Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, RoboCop, and we didn't even mention the Alien series. But
I've never seen them.
really. Oh, those are just speaking of classic lines. The Game Over Man, Game Over, Bill Paxton, Alien.
Yeah.
But if you want an entertaining deep dive into the behind the scenes of some of your favorite movies, definitely check that out. So we just watched the John Carpenter's Halloween one, and it was funny. They were saying,
I watched that too.
It was funny because they were saying like there's no pumpkins during the spring, so all they could do is get their hands on 3 pumpkins or gourds that they had to spray paint orange, and so it was funny. So all the pumpkins that you see, there's really only 3 in the entire movie, and that's all they could get their hands on.
So like they moved them around from set to set.
Yeah, just kept moving them around, or like if they needed a pumpkin, they turn it around, so you couldn't see the carving that was already in it. So
That's hilarious.
but
I didn't see that part.
yeah,
I
so
must have fallen asleep at that point.
that's a good one. So I think we're gonna wrap it up for our first Halloween special, Adam.
So all my pagan lovers out there, have a happy Samhain.
So from the Nick and Adam show, we're wishing you a happiest of Halloweens. Maniacal.